Quick customer demo video, just double checking his amp before it ships out. This is a 800 HD with sideband for Thomas, and it is in the large case. I do have one of these available without sideband in the skinnier case, the more narrow case. If you guys are interested in it, it is available. But we're just going to test this one with my all the way 655. This is my own radio. I've had this one hooked up running on the ground plane for the past couple weeks here, so it's going to do probably 50 average, give or take, and 125, 130 PEP. Now, is that going to max this amp out? No, but we're in here on the small test bench, if you will, anyway, so it's not like we have the power supply to test it to max output. I had planned on testing it on the big power supply, but I've got a pile of stuff out there in the way right now. I've got that Drake L4B and a bunch of other stuff hooked up and in the way. So we're trying to get this amp out of here today. Already been a few days since we printed the label, so we want to get this thing tested and get it on the way to the customer. So that being said, test it with our 655 here. Obviously that means there won't be a sideband test, but we can check the sideband delay. And you can hear that delay working the way it's supposed to. And we're going to be at 14.9 volts. We're going to test on a 2500 watt slug. So that means we'll be looking at the top scale on our bird over here. Let's zoom in real quick. Go ahead and key up. And that's about a 275 to 300 watt dead key. Now, can you run it lower? Yes. But right there, is going to be a good comfort place to run it. If you believe in the SWR meter on the front of the radio, it's showing a pretty low SWR, like a 1.1 or so. I don't really trust these SWR meters on the strikers, but for what it's worth, it is showing low. Hello, audio. So showing about 700 average. Keep in mind, we're only putting about 50 or 60 average into it. And then our PEP power, again, top scale. Hello, audio. About 1450, just a little south of 1500 watts PEP there. So what's that tell you? If you go ahead and put the absolute maximum drive into this thing of 250 watts, it's going to get up there close to that 2 kW mark, maybe even a little better. Now, what do I recommend putting into them? Generally somewhere between 200 and 250. You can exceed that a little bit, 275. But again, you start pushing the envelope for the drive you're putting into one of these, you start not leaving a lot of room for error. So if you're already pushing this thing to absolute max power, let's say your SWR goes up to a 1.5, 1.6, then, chances are you could have some issues there. Obviously, you want to run SWR as low as you can, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, somewhere in that ballpark. Obviously, the lower the better. A little bit more forgiving when your SWR is lower. So 15 volts is what I tell people. Nowadays, folks are saying you can run these at 15 and a half. They just keep pushing the envelope. Myself, if I had one, I would run it at 15. That's where I'd kind of be at on it there. You get 100 watts average per pill. And look, we're really just cruising this thing with this 655, and we're almost getting 100 watts average per transistor just with this radio. So the striker's driving it really well. But again, you can use different radios to drive this thing. RCI 99N2, some of those 250, 275 watt radios that do like 100 watts average, and you'll see this thing come alive and do even more. But that's it. Carl built 800 HD. Again, I'm going to do an announcement on some more Carl builds that I have available. Got some, I think maybe a 6 and a 4, maybe some other stuff in. But I do have one of these without sideband, and it's in the more narrow case. It's not in the wide case. This is the fat case, and I do have one in the more narrow case without sideband. So that's on roostercb.com. Everybody have a good day. More videos to come. Appreciate it, everybody. Take care. Rooster N10, roostercb.com. See you, bye.